the ghost from Earth's past. Deep in the command center of the Dominion's Citadel Primus, High Admiral Jorvan Calith stood motionless before the vast holographic display. 3,000 years of military training had taught him discipline, but nothing had prepared him for this. The projection showed a single ship, sleek, battle-scarred, and unmistakably of human design. "Impossible," he whispered, his four eyes narrowing to slits. "Verify the report again." His first officer, Commander Nix Veritax, a tall Arcturian with silver skin that reflected the console lights, nodded solemnly. "Verified 6 times, Admiral. The readings are consistent. It's human." The weight of that word hung in the sterile air of the command center. Human. A species that shouldn't exist anymore. A civilization that had been methodically erased from the galaxy 2 centuries ago. "The Empire of 1,000 Suns does not tolerate ghosts," Jorvan said, his voice harder now. "What's its trajectory?" Nix brought up additional data streams with a wave of her hand. "It crossed the Hellion Divide 30 minutes ago. It's making straight for the Dominion core worlds. No deviation, no hesitation. It's purposeful." Jorvan felt his secondary heart quicken its pace. The Hellion Divide was supposed to be impenetrable, a network of automated defense systems, gravity wells, and patrol fleets that had kept the Dominion's borders secure for 3 centuries. And our outposts? Silent, all of them. The ship didn't engage, it simply passed through. Across the chamber, Intelligence Director Thorin Maldrek began pacing, his reptilian tail twitching with agitation. "This is a psychological operation. Some rebel faction has constructed a replica to inspire fear. Humans have been extinct since the purification campaign." "Then explain why it penetrated our most secure border without triggering a single alarm," Jorvan countered. "Explain why none of our weapons could lock onto it." The room fell silent. The purification campaign was rarely discussed openly, even among the Dominion's highest ranks. It had been brutal, efficient, and complete, or so they had been taught. Earth and its colonies had been the only real challenge the Dominion had faced in its expansion across the galaxy. Unlike other species who surrendered or negotiated, humans had fought with a savagery that shocked even the most veteran Dominion commanders. They didn't fight for territory or resources, they fought as if extinction itself was preferable to submission. And so extinction was what the Dominion gave them. "Show me visual," Jorvan ordered. The hologram shifted, revealing real-time footage from the nearest observation post. The human vessel glided silently through the void, its hull bearing scars from battles fought long ago. No markings, no insignia, just weathered metal that had somehow endured 2 centuries of isolation. Its design was unlike anything in current Dominion archives. Angular, aggressive, built not for beauty but for vengeance. "It's not responding to hails on any frequency," reported Communications Officer Zaravas. "We've tried everything from basic radio to quantum entanglement. Nothing." "Life signs?" Jorvan asked. "Uncertain. Our scanners can't penetrate its hull. The readings we do get are contradictory." Zara's voice faltered. "Sometimes it registers as completely empty, other times as having a single occupant." Jorvan suppressed a shudder. The Dominion didn't believe in superstition, but the idea of a ghost ship piloted by a lone human survivor was testing his rationality. "Scramble the 7th Fleet," he finally ordered. "I want every Sovereign-class battleship in a blockade formation at the Tarsus Junction. If this human vessel wants to reach the core worlds, it will have to go through the most powerful fleet in the galaxy." As his officers rushed to comply, Jorvan remained still, studying the ship's every detail. He'd been a junior officer during the final days of the purification campaign. He remembered the intelligence briefings about humanity's last-ditch efforts, rumors of experimental ships, desperate technologies, suicidal plans. Most had been dismissed as the delusions of a dying species. Perhaps that had been a mistake. On board the vessel designated Vengeance, Captain Alaravas sat alone in the dimly lit command chair. Her body, more machine now than flesh, interfaced directly with the ship's systems. Her remaining human eye stared ahead at the stars, while her cybernetic one processed tactical data at speeds no purely organic mind could achieve. She had been awakened from stasis just 3 days ago, the ship's AI determining that the time had finally come. 200 years of automated travel, repairs, and strategic dormancy had led to this moment. "System check," she spoke, her voice hoarse from centuries of disuse. "All systems operational," responded the ship's AI, its voice a perfect replica of her long-dead brother. "Weapons at 97% capacity." shields at full, stealth systems functioning optimally. And the payload? Stable and secure, Captain. Alara nodded slowly. The payload wasn't a weapon, at least not in the conventional sense. It was truth. Raw, unaltered records of what had really happened during the purification campaign. Evidence that the Dominion had not just conquered humanity, but had systematically erased all evidence of their greatest crimes. Her mission was simple: reach the Dominion's central archive on Vexus Prime and broadcast the truth to every corner of the galaxy. Let all the subjugated worlds know the reality of their masters. They've detected us, the AI reported. Dominion communications indicate the mobilization of their 7th Fleet at Tarsus Junction. A thin smile crossed Alara's scarred face. How many ships? 53 capital ships, including 6 Sovereign-class battleships. The best they have, she mused. The pride of their empire. The odds of successful penetration are... I don't care about the odds, Alara interrupted. The Vengeance wasn't built to calculate odds. It was built to settle scores. She closed her eyes, feeling the ship's systems through her neural link. The Vengeance was humanity's final statement. A vessel constructed in secret in the last days before Earth fell. While conventional forces fought hopeless battles to buy time, Earth's brightest minds had poured every advancement, every desperate innovation into this single ship. Quantum-entangled engines that could blink across space without conventional warp signatures. Adaptive hull material that absorbed energy weapons and scanner probes alike. And at its core, a consciousness preservation system that had kept Alara's mind intact through 2 centuries of isolation. They're forming a blockade, the AI reported. Standard Dominion doctrine, overwhelming force in a multi-layered defensive grid. Show me, Alara commanded. A 3-dimensional tactical display materialized before her. The Dominion fleet had positioned itself precisely as expected. Their military hadn't changed in 2 centuries, still relying on the same strategies that had conquered 1,000 worlds. Time to intercept. 27 minutes at current velocity. Alara leaned forward, her cybernetic eye glowing brighter. Increase to maximum. Let's give them less time to prepare. Acknowledged. New intercept time, 13 minutes. As the Vengeance accelerated, Alara reviewed the files she would soon broadcast across the galaxy. The truth about Earth's last days, the biological weapons tested on civilian populations, the systematic destruction of human history and culture, the harvesting of human genetic material for Dominion experiments. The recordings showed it all. The faces of those who had ordered the genocide, the coordinates of mass graves on 12 worlds, the secret protocols ensuring that humanity would be remembered only as savages who deserved extinction. Incoming transmission, the AI announced. Dominion High Command frequency. Let's hear it. The cold, precise voice of Admiral Jorvan Calith filled the bridge. Unidentified human vessel. This is High Admiral Jorvan Calith of the Dominion Sovereign Fleet. Your species has been declared extinct under Imperial Edict 37B. Your existence is a violation of galactic law. Power down your systems and prepare to be boarded, or face immediate destruction. Alara laughed, a harsh, broken sound. They think they're in a position to make demands. Shall I respond? The AI asked. No, Alara decided. Let them wonder. Let them fear. 200 years of believing themselves invincible has made them complacent. They've forgotten what it's like to face an enemy with nothing left to lose. The tactical display updated, showing the Dominion fleet's final formation. 6 massive sovereign battleships at the center, surrounded by cruisers, destroyers, and fighter squadrons. A wall of firepower that could reduce planets to ash. 5 minutes to intercept, the AI announced. Alara took a deep breath, feeling the weight of extinct humanity on her shoulders. For 2 centuries, the Vengeance had hidden, waited, and prepared for this moment. A single ship against an empire. A ghost returning to haunt its killers. Activate all combat systems, she ordered. Initiate approach sequence Omega. The ship hummed with awakening power as weapons charged and special systems came online. The lights in the bridge dimmed further, power redirected to where it was needed most. They're targeting us, the AI reported calmly. All Dominion weapons locked. Let them fire first, Alara said. Let history record that they never learned. As the Vengeance approached the waiting armada, Admiral Jorvan Calith gave the order that would change the galaxy forever. All ships, open fire. The darkness of space erupted with energy as thousands of weapons discharged simultaneously at the lone human vessel. The Dominion's mightiest fleet unleashed its full fury against the ghost from Earth's past. And then, something impossible happened. The human ship didn't evade. It didn't return fire. It simply vanished. For one heartbeat, the Dominion's sovereign fleet froze in confusion. That was all the time Alara Voss needed. Reckoning and revelation. For 3 terrible seconds, Admiral Jorvan Calith stood immobilized as alarms screamed across his command deck. The human vessel had vanished directly in front of his fleet's combined barrage, the weapon's fire passing harmlessly through empty space. "Where is it?" he roared, slamming his fist on the tactical display. "Find that ship." The answer came not from his officers, but from behind them. The bridge doors hissed open, and every Dominion officer turned in shock. Standing in the doorway was a figure they'd only seen in historical archives, a human woman, her body a disconcerting blend of flesh and machine. Her right arm was entirely cybernetic, her left eye glowed with an unnatural blue light, and a network of silver implants traced patterns across the visible portions of her skin. "Looking for me?" Captain Alara Voss asked, her voice unnaturally calm. For security officers drew their weapons, but before they could fire, their bodies convulsed and collapsed. The remaining bridge crew backed away in horror. "Quantum entanglement," Alara explained casually, stepping over the fallen guards. "My consciousness is linked directly to my ship. I can project myself anywhere within its operational range, which now includes your vessel. Your shields mean nothing to me." Jorvan stood his ground, though his secondary heart was pounding frantically. Impossible technology. Humans never achieved such advancement. "We achieved much in our final days," Alara replied, walking slowly toward him. "Desperation breeds innovation. When your Dominion gave us no choice but extinction, you forced us to evolve beyond what you thought possible." Commander Nix drew her sidearm, but Jorvan raised his hand to stop her. "What do you want? If you're here for revenge, why not simply destroy our fleet?" Alara's human eye narrowed. "If I wanted your fleet destroyed, Admiral, it would already be atoms scattered across this system. The vengeance carries weapons you can't comprehend. But I didn't come to annihilate, I came to reveal." She gestured, and holographic displays throughout the bridge flickered, replaced by images that made the Dominion officers gasp. Video footage showed scenes none of them had ever witnessed, Dominion forces deploying biological weapons against human civilian populations. Scientists harvesting living humans for genetic material. Entire cities being systematically erased not just physically, but from all historical records. The purification campaign wasn't a military operation, Alara continued as the horrific images played. It was a harvest. The Dominion didn't just want our worlds. You wanted our genetic uniqueness, our adaptability, our rage. Qualities your engineered species lacks. Jorvan's face had grown pale. "These are fabrications. Propaganda from a dead civilization. These are direct feeds from your own command archives," Alara countered. "Data that my ship has been systematically collecting for 2 centuries as we waited, hidden at the edge of your empire. Every transmission, every record, every dirty secret you thought buried with Earth." Intelligence Director Thorin lunged forward suddenly, a concealed blade in his hand. He moved with remarkable speed, but Alara didn't even try to dodge. The blade passed through her projected form like smoke. "I'm not really here," she reminded him with a cold smile. "But my ship is. Right now, it's interfaced with your central systems, transmitting these same images to every vessel in your fleet. And soon, to every world in your empire." Jorvan felt the deck seem to shift beneath him as the implications became clear. "You'll cause chaos, rebellion. Trillions will die in the resulting conflict." "Perhaps," Alara acknowledged. "Or perhaps your subject species will finally see their masters for what they truly are. The Dominion that erased humanity could just as easily erase any of them." Commander Nix stepped forward, her silver skin now ashen. "You said you've waited 2 centuries. Why now? Why not attack when the memories were fresh?" For the first time, something like genuine emotion crossed Alara's face, a flicker of ancient pain. "Because I needed to be certain. I needed everything. Every record, every order, every name of those responsible. And most importantly, I needed proof of what you did with what you stole from us." New images appeared, secret Dominion facilities where human genetic material had been used to create hybrid soldiers with heightened aggression, enhanced resilience, and total obedience. The Dominion's elite forces, their biological superiority built on stolen human potential. "Your empire's strength," Alara said quietly, is built on the bones of my species. Across the Dominion's 1,000 worlds, communications networks suddenly flooded with the same images. From luxury high-rises on the core worlds to labor camps on distant mining planets, trillions of beings witnessed humanity's final testimony. Most had never even heard of humans. The species had been erased from standard historical texts, reduced to a footnote about a primitive civilization that had resisted progress. Now they saw the truth. On the mineral-rich world of Callus IV, the enslaved Centauri miners watched in stunned silence as their overseers frantically tried to shut down the broadcast. In the Grand Assembly on Nexus Prime, representatives from 50 subject species stared in horror at evidence of atrocities they had never imagined. In military academies throughout the Empire, young officers learned that their tactical doctrines had been built upon the systematic study of human resistance fighters. The Dominion was facing its reckoning. Back on the flagship, Admiral Jorvin had recovered enough of his composure to attempt damage control. What do you want? He demanded. State your terms. Terms. Alara laughed, the sound hollow and mechanical. I'm not here to negotiate, Admiral. I'm here to witness. You're just one person, the last of your kind, Jorvin said desperately. What can you possibly hope to accomplish? I was never the last, Alara replied, her projected form beginning to fade. That was your first mistake. Alarms blared across the command center as new contacts appeared on the tactical display. Ships, dozens of them, emerging from quantum jumps all around the Dominion fleet. They were of various designs, some clearly cobbled together from disparate technologies, but all bore the same marking, a stylized image of Earth, circled by a broken chain. Impossible, breathed Commander Nix. There can't be more humans. We monitored every escape attempt. You monitored what we wanted you to see, Alara's fading form replied. While your fleets bombarded Earth, while your scientists cataloged our genetic material, 50 ships slipped away. Not military vessels, colony ships, filled with children, scientists, artists, the seeds of humanity scattered across the void. Intelligence Director Thorin staggered back, his reptilian features contorted in shock. The charts we found, the evacuation plans, they were decoys. Of course they were, Alara said. We knew our homeworld was lost. But we also knew what kind of enemy we faced. So we created a myth, the myth of humanity's total extinction. And we waited. For 2 centuries, human colonies have hidden in the shadows of your empire, building strength, preserving our history, preparing for this day. The new ships, the human ships, took up positions around the Dominion fleet, not firing, simply waiting. What happens now? Jorvin asked, his voice barely audible. Now, Alara's form had faded to little more than a silhouette. Now the galaxy learns what happens when you try to erase a species that refuses to be forgotten. My ship has already transmitted the access codes for your weapon systems to our fleet. Your ships are now effectively disarmed. Before Jorvin could respond, every display on the bridge changed to show a single image, an elderly human man with dark skin and eyes that seemed to pierce through the screen. People of the Dominion, he began, his voice resonating with authority. I am Admiral Marcuschin, commander of the Human Resurgence Fleet. For 200 years, we have hidden, we have built, we have remembered. Today, the Dominion's lie ends. Jorvin sank into his command chair, watching as 2 centuries of imperial certainty crumbled around him. We do not come seeking vengeance, Admiral Chen continued. We come seeking justice. The regime that ordered our extinction must answer for its crimes. The people who have lived under Dominion rule deserve the truth. And the galaxy deserves a new beginning. Alara's projection had almost completely disappeared, but her voice remained. You thought Earth was just another conquest, Admiral Jorvin. You never understood what you were facing. Humans don't just die. We endure. We return. We remember. The final words hung in the air as her projection vanished entirely. In the weeks that followed, the Dominion of 1,000 suns began to fracture. Subject worlds declared independence. Military units mutinied. The carefully constructed hierarchy of 3 millennia collapsed under the weight of revealed truths. The human fleet, now revealed to be just the vanguard of dozens of hidden colonies, positioned itself not as conquerors but as liberators. They shared technologies, provided aid to worlds long exploited by the Dominion, and helped establish a new galactic concord based on principles of self-determination and mutual respect. The vengeance remained at the center of it all, a symbol of humanity's refusal to be erased from history. Captain Alaravas, The woman who had waited 2 centuries for justice became both legend and leader. The lone human whose ship had made an empire's strongest fleet freeze in disbelief had ignited a revolution that would reshape the stars. In the new galactic archives, the first entry told the story not of the Dominion's rise but of humanity's return, a testament to the one truth the Empire had never understood, that some flames cannot be extinguished, only banked until the time is right to burn once more. And across 1,000 worlds, beings of all species learn to speak the name of Earth not as a cautionary tale of resistance crushed, but as a promise that no power, however vast, could truly erase those who refuse to be forgotten.